Dear friends of Bitcoin bull runs, it is that time again. As I'm recording this, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are experiencing a significant growth in valuation. At the moment, Bitcoin is around 62,500. And it's not only just Bitcoin. A lot of cryptocurrencies are really profiting from this early bull run. Also, for example, Ethereum seems to have gained massive interest by traders, especially in the US. And therefore, it led to a massive price increase. But why is this happening? Well, there are a couple of reasons. The first one is, of course, the ETF, as you might have already guessed, as alone the top 5 Bitcoin ETFs hold a total of around 724,630 Bitcoins, which are worth approximately 42 billion. And this comes hand in hand with a record trading volume. And even for a company like BlackRock, it's the most successful ETF that they have launched in the last 30 years. It's not only just that. The number one ETF that currently is Grayscale in terms of Bitcoins and trust and assets under management seems to have finally caught a break from its massive outflows. They had previously suffered massive outflows as their asset management fee was significantly higher than the rest. And for a long time, it was okay because Grayscale was the only trust that was available. They were a trust that was traded at over the counter. And for a long time, they were the only one, so it didn't really matter how much they charged. But now, since all the other ETFs has launched, their fee of originally 2% was just too high. They cut it down to 1.5%, but still, their fee was a lot higher than the rest, as the fees compared to the others was only 0.25% by the other companies. However, this has now seemed to balance a bit. So there are not as much outflows anymore, which of course is also good for the Bitcoin market, as Grayscale had to sell so far over 95,000 Bitcoins, which also led to Bitcoin having somewhat of a small price decrease. And this also means that with the ETFs, there are massive inflows daily. And also there is more institutional reputation that is made possible as those companies express basically their belief in Bitcoin, which of course is good for the cryptocurrency. This basically means that with the market demand increase and the infinite supply that still remains at 21 million, this triggers a massive price increase already. Also, there is a lot of optimism in the space at the moment. There's a lot of optimism because, as some cryptocurrency holders still remember in their heart, is that for a long time, Bitcoin and for the whole crypto market, not just Bitcoin, they had to fight against the SEC, and they basically went to war, as the SEC stated that every cryptocurrency except Bitcoin is a potential target, and they started to sue some of the cryptocurrencies. However, now that the ETF has been approved by the SEC, a lot of people believe that Bitcoin and the whole crypto market is actually compliant to the rules, so that the asset is actually valid. And this triggers optimism, which leads to people investing in cryptocurrency assets like Bitcoin. And therefore, the price also increases. What is also important and somewhat even forgot at the moment, as the sentiment is very positive, is the upcoming halving. There's a halving expected in less than 2 months. And historically, this meant all-time highs for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, as the halving basically means that the rewards for mining a Bitcoin are cut into half, and the miners are the one who create the Bitcoin, and they receive now only half of what they originally received. And historically, this means that the people, the miners, they mined less Bitcoin as it was less profitable, and this led to a major supply shock, while the demand stayed the same. So the price historically reached all-time highs afterwards. Also, what is very important to know is that MicroStrategy, which is now listed at S&P 500, is basically representing Bitcoin's success. As MicroStrategy is a company that puts every profit they make into investing Bitcoin. Michael Saylor is investing every profit they make into Bitcoin and holding onto the Bitcoins, as they recently again acquired 3,000 Bitcoins. So basically, for every investor that invests into MicroStrategy, it's also indirectly an investment into Bitcoin, as the market valuation of the company is very much dependent on the cryptocurrency asset. But it's not only just Bitcoin. A lot of altcoins are currently also winning at the moment, as basically when Bitcoin is experiencing a significant growth, the altcoins also follow. And I would even argue that the altcoins are the main winners and not actually Bitcoin in itself, as the altcoins are experiencing a much higher growth. And this is also made possible because now that more investors come in, they experience with altcoins. And with altcoins, it's possible to make much higher returns than with Bitcoins. And therefore, the market valuation can be very volatile, and also can mean that those altcoins, they can go through the roof. But of course, you have to be very careful with altcoins, as there is less institutional backing. As with Bitcoin, there are already some real-life implementations, and altcoins, in some cases, are actually pretty useless. But what can we expect to see in the future? Well, we can expect to see in the future, at the moment at least, that the sentiment remains bullish. It's very bullish at the moment regarding the upcoming events like the halving, and also the events that were overcome, like the war with the SEC. However, this might not be over, and there might be something that Gary Gensler could do to fight back against crypto. What I also expect to see in the future is, regarding the Bitcoin halving, I think it will have a less of an impact as people may think on Bitcoin. I think there's already so much money coming into Bitcoin from not only just the crypto market, also from outside. So I think that the price will reach an all-time high, but I don't think it will go as high as a lot of people may think. Also, I believe that the altcoins will actually be the main winners, and historically this has also been true, as they reached all-time highs and they made a much higher percentage than Bitcoin, which of course makes perfect sense, as the Bitcoin valuation is of course relatively already high, and the valuation for Bitcoin to really experience a significant growth depends on a lot more factors than for the altcoins. Also, I believe that MicroStrategy will remain in the S&P 500, and I think it can really help the Bitcoin price, as they already acquired a lot of cryptocurrencies and are among the top holders. So finally, I believe that the Bitcoin price will reach its all-time highs with the halving that is around the corner. I think though that there's already so much money coming in, and even when they reach the all-time highs, I don't think it will go to like 200,000 or like even higher, which some people already expect. I think it will be lower. And I think that also, when looking at the price historically, when the prices drop after the halving, I think that the prices, however, will not drop as much, as I think there is more stability coming, as there's more stability with the institutions that have invested into Bitcoin with the ETFs. However, I believe there could be a drop, but I don't think it will be nearly as much as it originally has been with the last time Bitcoin reached its all-time high, when it went from its all-time high to just 16,000. So, in total, I believe that Bitcoin will remain a valuable asset for the future. And I think that the all-time high can be surpassed by quite a bit, but I don't think it will reach like 100 to 120, 150. I think that will be too much. So, do you agree with me? Do you think that Bitcoin will actually surpass 200 or maybe even 300k? Or do you think that the halving might have a much bigger impact and it could even go to 400 or 500k? Or do you even think that the halving might not have also the same of a big effect as usual? Let me know. I will see you in the next video.